let's move on to main topic number 1. And our first main topic today gets submitted to us by James Ward, who writes, "Hey, John and Erin. Have you heard the news from Deadline that a Whitney Houston biopic is in the works, with Bohemian Rhapsody writer Anthony McCarten set to write and produce the film? I'm excited due to the fact that he's also written The Two Popes, which I loved, Darkest Hour, which I loved, and The Theory of Everything, which I loved. What are your thoughts?" All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yeah, it turns out they're finally moving ahead, it looks like, with a documentary, a biopic on the life of Whitney Houston. This comes to us from The Hollywood Reporter, who writes, Anthony McCarten, the writer behind the Queen biopic Bohemian Rhapsody, will pen the screenplay, while Stella Meggy, who is behind the Issa Rae romance of The Photograph, will direct. Pat Houston will produce the movie on behalf of the Houston estate, along with Davis. Primary Waves Music's Larry Mestil, Dennis O'Sullivan, and McCarten. With the background of the estate, I Want to Dance with Somebody, which is the name of the documentary, the name of the biopic, I Want to Dance with Somebody, will be able to utilize Houston's music catalog. The movie does not yet have distribution. That's a big main key thing there, that the movie is going to be able to use Whitney Houston's catalog of music, because we have seen some documentary projects, at least some that they've tried to get going, that have not had the right to use the music catalog, and it ends up feeling a little bit weird and odd. Two different thoughts I have on this. The first thought I have on this is, well, of course you do one on Whitney Houston. If you're going to do one on musicians and stuff like that, which I'm usually not a big fan of biopics on musicians, but if you're going to do one, Whitney Houston is definitely one. She was the biggest star in the world for a long period of time, with a very tragic ending. And so that is just something that lends itself to storytelling, both as a cautionary tale and as something of great interest to a lot of people. So yeah, you make a biopic out of this. The one thing that always concerns me a little bit, whenever a biopic is being done and the estate of that person are among the producers of the film, it always leaves me a little bit of, are they going to be very kind in this? Like, are they not going to show us maybe the struggles, the more interesting parts of the story, which makes Whitney Houston to me all the more human and more relatable? But sometimes I worry about that a little bit. But I got to say, if you're going to do a biopic on a musician, Whitney Houston one seems to be a no-brainer. When I was in grade school, she was like the biggest star in the world, and she's still one of the greatest singers I've ever heard. So this kind of makes sense. Erin, you hear about them doing a biopic on Whitney Houston. Is this a good choice to do, and is this a good time to do it? What do you think?
It's an amazing choice. Not only is she, as you said, one of, if not the greatest singer of all time, and just a phenomenal performer. You're right. Her life had such incredibly tragic twists and turns. And I had the exact same concern as you did when I saw that her sister-in-law, Pat Houston, was going to be... that the estate was going to be part of it. But Pat Houston, when I did a little bit more digging, she actually was involved in a documentary about Whitney Houston. And one of the things that was revealed in the documentary that she really struggled with, but that she ultimately went along with, was the allegation from her own husband, Gary Houston, which is Whitney's brother, that Gary and Whitney were sexually molested by their aunt, Dee Dee Warwick, which is Dionne Warwick's sister, who has passed away. And she said that was, and that was sort of what ultimately led to Gary and Whitney and their having drug problems and the issues that they have faced. And she said that was a really dark thing, and she had to go to Dionne Warwick and Cissy Houston, Whitney's mom, and say, this is what they're saying. And so the fact that she was willing to go to that dark place and reveal something so horrible about her own family and what that potentially might unravel leads me to believe that she really is interested in going to those places. And also, if we look at the success of Bohemian Rhapsody and Rocket Man, part of what made those films successful and relatable was the fact that you saw all of the darkness, as well as they showed what was on top that the audience got to see, that we as fans got to fall in love with, but then everything that was also going on. It'll be interesting to see if they explore Whitney's relationship with Robin Crawford. That will be very interesting. Robin Crawford, who wrote a book about her sexual and romantic relationship with Whitney Houston, and so it'll be really interesting if that is explored. I don't know. I think that she has such a fascinating life story, and even Pat has said that part of Whitney's story is a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
So I think that she's really willing to show everything, and it'll just make us fall in love with Whitney all the more.
Did you watch, I remember we actually stopped and watched the memorial service for Whitney Houston. Did you see or ever see the Kevin Costner speech at her memorial service?
No.
It was beautiful.
Oh, I bet.
If you guys at home, if you haven't seen it, if you get a chance, I'm not sure where you would find it, but Kevin Costner giving, I don't know if it was the official eulogy, but he was one of the main speakers at her memorial. It was a beautiful and touching speech. And if you get a chance to look it up, do go look it up. Question for you guys is, what do you think about a biopic on Whitney Houston? Do you like the idea? Would you be interested in it? Jump on down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right.